Alrighty. Hello, everyone. My name is Will, and today our group is going to be talking to you about prions. So, prions are proteins that are found mostly in cells in the brain. They are labeled as the PRPC protein, and these proteins are found in all healthy people, not just people with prion diseases. The protein themselves are not harmful, but when these proteins fold abnormally, then that is what is called a prion disease. Prion diseases form when the normal prion protein, the PRPC protein, misfolds into the mutant prion protein, the PRPSC protein. To the right here on this slide, you can see that there's the PRPC, the normal prion protein, and then to the right on this image, there's the PRPSC, the mutated prion protein. So essentially, prions, the misfolded prion proteins, cause neurodegenerative disorders. These disorders tend to progress very fast and are always fatal. They essentially create holes in the brain tissue. The misfolded prion proteins can pass on their abnormal shape to normal prion proteins. This is the reason why these diseases tend to progress so rapidly. The abnormally folded prion protein, so the PRPSC protein, is not recognized by the body as foreign, so there is no immune response to fight it.
Hi, my name is Max Tack, and I'm going to first cover the transmission of prions. So the three ways that prion disease can be transferred include randomly, by inheritance, and by ingestion. So in some cases, these healthy PRPC proteins can mutate by chance, leading to a misfolding of their structure. And as we learned previously, this can cause a chain reaction of transmission to other normally folded proteins, causing aggregation and tissue death in the brain. So to connect this back to course content, these types of mutations would be categorized as deleterious, meaning that the mutation lowers the fitness of the organism. We know that these changes negatively affect fitness because the prion diseases have a 100% mortality rate, and the organism can't pass on its genetic material if it's dead. Next, there are inheritable genetic disorders, which, if passed to offspring, will lead to predisposition of prion diseases due to mutation. To link this to course content, the mutated form of the prion protein is passed to offspring as an autosomal dominant trait, meaning that if both parents are heterozygous for this trait, theoretically there's a 3 in 4 chance of passing the trait on to their offspring. Lastly, transmission via ingestion occurs when an animal eats another animal's meat. So in this case, it's typically nervous tissue, meaning brains. If the meat contains this misfolded protein, they transmit to other normally folded proteins, causing tissue death in the brain. The misfolded proteins are so easy to transfer between animals because the prion protein sequence is very similar across all mammals. So we wanted to clearly link the transmission of prions to a learning objective by looking at this through the lens of an evolutionary biologist. So this prion protein, which can misfold to cause disease, is actually found to be important for memories and sleep. This protein is encoded by a highly conserved DNA sequence, which indicates that it's quite important. All mammals have a very similar version of this protein because of its importance, which is why transmission is so easy through ingestion. So knowing this, we can connect this information to learning objective D1, which is to support with evidence the theory that all organisms are related. So recall that homology is the study of likeness or recognizing similarity among organisms of different species due to shared ancestry. Now, genetic homology is to look for similarities in DNA. And since we know that humans and cattle, for example, are different species, yet they share such striking similarities in terms of genetic code for this protein, supports the idea that they both inherited this code from a common ancestor, meaning they are related.
A few examples of prion diseases are CWD, or chronic wasting disease, and CJD, or Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. These will be explored in the rest of the presentation.
Hi, this is Cohen Buckingham, and I'm going to talk about CWD.
All right, so CWD. What is CWD? CWD, or chronic wasting disease, is a member of the transmissible spongiform encephalopathies, TSCs, or prion diseases. It's one of the pressing issues in North American conservation right now, as it only impacts a select few species, which include all species of North American cervids. First reports of CWD were in mule deer in Colorado. These reports dated back to 1967. Now, CWD has been reported in 25 states and 2 Canadian provinces, as well as South Korea and Norway. It has recently grasped headlines as the quote, zombie deer disease because it leaves its victims emaciated and delirious. The two main concerns surrounding CWD is the impact it has and may continue to have on the future of the North American cervid populations, as well as the fact that science has not yet been able to rule out that the disease cannot jump and will not jump to humans. Other diseases of the same family, prions, such as mad cow disease or bovine spongiform encephalopathy, have been known to jump to humans. Some symptoms of CWD are progressive neurological degeneration, weight loss, poor coordination, stumbling and trembling, and it actually has a 100% death rate. CWD is passed on through direct animal-to-animal contact, contact with saliva, urine, carcass parts, or feces of infected animals. It can spread through soil that has been contaminated with any of the above tissues or fluids. It takes roughly 2 years for infected animals to start showing symptoms of CWD, and infected deer will spread infectious agents while the disease is still in the incubation period.
Another prion disease is Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, also known as CJD. This prion disease is very prevalent in humans. It can be inherited, and it's marked by rapid mental deterioration, which usually results in death within a year. Signs and symptoms of this disease are personality changes, memory loss, impaired thinking and vision, difficulty speaking, and sudden jerky movements. Transmission occurs 85% as a sporadic disease, with no recognizable pattern of transmission. 5 to 15% is as an inherited mutation of the prion protein gene. Termination of prions. Prions cannot be destroyed once they infect the body. Prions are proteins, and to be destroyed, they need to be denatured. If one was to attempt to destroy a misshapen prion protein in the brain, likely through the use of heat, it would denature many other essential proteins. Kinda fun facts. There's currently no treatment for prions. Animals with CWD are often referred to as zombies. Brain tissue affected by prions is described as Swiss cheese-like. These are the references we use for our project. Thanks for watching.